This is ITV1. Now, a hard-hitting special report into the war on terror. Award-winning journalist Jonh breaking the silence.
As we and our coalition partners are doing in Afghanistan, we will bring to the Iraqi people food and medicines and supplies and freedom.
So I believe that this is a fight for freedom, and I want to make it a fight for justice too.
We have shown freedom's power, and in this great conflict, my fellow Americans, we will see freedom's victory.
September the 11th, 2001, dominates almost everything we watch, read and hear. We're fighting a war on terror, say George Bush and Tony Blair, a noble war against evil itself. But what are the real aims of this war? And who are the most threatening terrorists? Indeed, who is responsible for far greater acts of violence from those committed by the fanatics of Al-Qaeda, crimes that have claimed many more lives than September the 11th, and always in poor, devastated, faraway places from Latin America to Southeast Asia? The answer to these questions is to be found here in the United States, where those now in power speak openly of their conquests and of endless war. Afghanistan, Iraq, these, they say, are just the beginning. Look out, North Korea, Iran, even China. This film is about the rise and rise of rapacious imperial power and a terrorism that never speaks its name, because it is our terrorism. This is Afghanistan, and this woman's name is Orifa. In October 2001, an American plane dropped a 500-pound bomb on her mud and stone house. 8 members of her family were killed, including 6 children. 2 children died next door.
یک آدم بود. یه از بین رفته، یه از بین رفته. این دختره که اینجا که سر میکنه از بین رفته. این دخترای جوان از بین رفته. این شوهر موفق. با زمانم که برش صورتش سعی کردم که بسته روی از این بسته مستر کلنجی بشه پوچک شده، یکی سینهش یکی تیکه پارچه شده، دستش یکم تیکه تیکه شده. بچه خود ما رو میبینه کل از این بستن تو دم کرد پیش کرده. دخترها یکیش این دختر بسته سوخته بود. یک دختر دیگه بیشی بسته این بیشی دمیروی بسته دمیروی ازی دروی مکتیت بیشی چسبیده. گوشتش هم تو مابین پلاستیک جمع کرده. این دختر گردنش بسته سرش نبوده. هم باهم بسته صورت تخته پوستش رفته بود، صورتش معلوم میشده.
Afghanistan was claimed as the first victory in America's war on terror against Islamic fundamentalists known as Al-Qaeda, the group responsible for the attacks of September the 11th. The Taliban regime in Afghanistan had given Osama bin Laden a base, but bin Laden and the Taliban leader were never caught. Instead, more than 3,000 innocent people were bombed to death. That's more than were killed on September the 11th. President Bush calls this Operation Enduring Freedom.
امریکا چی حالت چی روز بر ما برده خانه من از بین برده نفر ما کل بسته کل زندگی ما از بین برده چی کنیم این حالت دیگه قد که خوب است برای شازادی برای که میگه ما خوش هستیم برای ما چند روز ما به غم است
A world away in New York. This is Rita Lazar and her brother Abe. Abe was killed in the Twin Towers on September the 11th. He might have saved himself, but chose to help a disabled friend.
My view does not look out on the World Trade Center, but I'm on the 15th floor in Lower Manhattan, and I ran across the hall to my friend's apartment, and her windows looked out on the World Trade Center, and I got there in time to see the second plane hit the second building. And strangely enough, it was only then that I said, oh my God, my brother's in that building. Danny, my son's best friend, called and said, can I come over? And we said, sure. And he said, did you watch the president's speech? And we said, no. And he said, he mentioned your brother. And I looked at him and I said, what are you talking about? And then I thought, gee, there must have been a lot of people who stayed behind with their friends in wheelchairs. You know, you don't think that it's your own brother. You don't think that. But it was my brother. And immediately I knew that my country was going to use my brother's death to justify killing innocent people in Afghanistan and wherever else they would look.
Rita decided to go to Afghanistan to comfort the victims of the American bombing. She met Orifa and took her to the American embassy in Kabul to seek compensation for the killing of her family.
I'll tell you about Orifa. She had taken a translated description of what had happened to her and her family to the American embassy to ask for help, and had been turned away and told, go away, you're a beggar.
The oppressed people of Afghanistan will know the generosity of America and our allies. As we strike military targets, we will also drop food, medicine, and supplies to the starving and suffering men and women and children of Afghanistan. The United States of America is a friend to the Afghan people.
Such a friend that out of $10 billion spent in Afghanistan in the last 2 years, the majority has been spent on the military. Of all the great humanitarian disasters, few countries have been helped less than Afghanistan. Only 3% of all international aid has been for reconstruction. Such a friend that the United States has yet to clear these unexploded cluster bombs it dropped in the center of Kabul, where children play in the lethal rubble. And children are supposed to learn in this devastation. The Afghan government gets less than 20% of the aid that is delivered.